My name is James, James, last name Berni, Berni. Yep, I'm a special agent with the FBI.
And what in the FBI do you do?
Yeah, I'm currently assigned to the FBI's CAST team, C-A-S-T.
What is the FBI's CAST team? What does that stand for?
So CAST, which stands for Cellular Analysis Survey Team. It's a team stood up by the FBI in 2009 after the FBI noticed an increased use of cell phone records in criminal trials. So CAST team members like myself specialize in both active and historic cell phone mapping and tracking.
Did you ever perform phone toll analysis for the January 10th, 2015 murder of Donovan Thomas?
I did.
Can you describe for the jury how you, in general, conduct that?
Yeah, so I was asked, basically given a list of phone numbers and associated users for those phone numbers and asked, hey, can you tell us when these associated numbers talk to each other on January 10th and into January 11th of 2015? So I reviewed call detail records for each of those numbers and then saw, hey, when they called this other known or associated number, pulled that out and date and time. So I made a list of every time any associated or known number I was asked to review called another one of those same pool of known or associated numbers.
Now, Agent Berni, before coming into court today, did you have an opportunity to review some physical boards?
I did.
Can you briefly go through just the last four and the name associated with the numbers that you conducted toll analysis on?
Yep. So I looked at the 1990 number associated with Dolly Grier, the 9220 associated with Bryan Williams, the 9596 number associated with Jeffery Williams, the 6080 associated with Demise McMullen, 5726 Quindarius Zachary, a 3904 number also associated with Jeffery Williams, the 8008 Javaris Bradford number, 3145 number associated with Justin Cobb, and then a 2643 associated with Kelvin Treadwell, 8935 associated with Antonio Sledge, a 5991 number associated with Kenneth Copeland, and then an 8553 number just associated with YSL Enterprises.
Or what is that?
So again, this is my toll analysis that I conducted on Exhibit 533 Yankee into a more digestible version that's easier as an exhibit.
And is that the same, or is that identical to the physical boards that are standing next to you right now?
They are.
What was the time frame that you used to conduct this toll analysis?
So I was asked to take a look at and put this toll analysis together for times after 7:28, roughly 7:25, I think actually was the exact time, 7:25, and later on January 10th of 2015.
What is the date, location, and time of 2 Yankee?
If you're talking about the call information, I'm on the middle of the screen. It says date of January 10th, 2015.
And what time was this call received?
received at 19:22 and 32 seconds.
And what is the location?
The location is 330 McDaniel Street, Southwest Atlanta.
Republishing states 533 Yankee Kilo is the first call on 533 Yankee Bravo. How many minutes after 2 Tango we just read is that call?
So what was that? 7:22, I think, was the call we read on there. So that would be approximately 7 minutes. The first call is at 7:29. So it shows up there as 19:29. Again, that's in 24-hour military time. Subtract 12 hours from 19, and you get 7:29.
And who is the associated name calling who?
So we see that that's between 6080 and 3904. The 6080 is the calling number, and that is Demise McMullen, or the number associated with Demise McMullen. And then the 3904 is associated to Jeffery Williams.
Now, can you show the jury where the second call is after that and who is calling who?
Your Honor, may I stand and point? I'm not sure the laser pointer, if they can see it. So on the total analysis, the number on the left-hand side, you see the phone and then the arrow shooting out. That shows that that's the originating number. So every number on this side here called the number on this side over here. This is the receiving side. So for this very first call, we see the number 6080 place a call at 7:22 p.m. to this 3904. And then this last portion here shows the number of seconds that call was based on review of the records on the outgoing calls phone side.
And Your Honor, I'm going to ask Deputy Hilton to assist me with a whiteboard.
All right.
I was going to ask for the first call. Could you, anytime someone's name comes up for the first time, Deputy Hilton, would you mind assisting me in writing who calls who?
Yes.
Thank you. So, Agent Berni, how much time is between the first call and the second call?
So 7:29, again, that call there lasts for approximately 47 seconds. And then the next call is at 7:31. Again, the 6080 calls the 8008 number.
Now, the call immediately after that, who was associated with 3145?
3145 is Justin Cobb.
And how long is that call between 3145 and 8008?
So that's this call here, again, at 7:31, that lasts for 34 seconds.
And then after that, is there another call, but with 0 seconds between 6080 and 8008?
There it is. Again, at 7:31.
Now, the first call was the phone associated with McMullen calling the phone associated with Defendant Williams. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
Who, after that call, the very first call, who is the next phone number that 3904 calls?
3904 at 7:31. 3904 calls 9596.
And who does 3904 call immediately after that?
So right after that, it's 7:33. 3904 calls 2643.
Is that the first time that 2643 shows up in this toll analysis for this time and date?
It is.
And who is 2643 associated with?
Calvin Treadwell.
After Kevin Treadwell receives that call, who is the next phone that 2643 associated with Kevin Treadwell calls?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Who is the next call that Kevin Treadwell calls after receiving that phone call from 3904?
2643 receives a call from 9596 at 7:35, and then places a call at 7:35 to 9596.
Now, is there ever any communication from 2643 to 6080?
There is.
Where can you show the jury where that is and what time that is?
Yep, so we see here 2643 at 7:38 to 6080. Lasts for 28 seconds.
And is that the phone associated with Kevin Treadwell calling Demise McMullen? And what is the last call depicted on this first slide? What is the time and who is calling who?
So this is at 7:39, the 2643 number, again, places a phone call to 9596. That lasts approximately 7 seconds.
Now, when you've conducted toll analysis, is this a small, medium, or large amount of activity between these numbers?
Sustained.
Agent Berni, can you describe for the jury how many times have you conducted toll analysis as a member of the FBI's CAS team?
Probably well over 100, if not several hundred times.
And have those several hundred times you've conducted toll analysis involved more than one number?
Yes.
Have you, through conducting that, have you had time to form an opinion about, or working those hundreds of toll analysis that you've done, have you seen variations in the amount of connections made in the windows you're requested to look at?
Objection, Your Honor, relevance also not beyond the scope of the and of the jury.
Overruled and overruled.
You may answer, Agent Berni.
Can you repeat the question?
Yes. In working those different toll analysis, have you seen variations in the amount of phone connectivity in the couple hundred cases that you've worked specifically on toll analysis?
I have.
And this specific for January 10th, 2015 toll analysis that you conducted, is it a small, average, or high amount of connections between the phone numbers you analyzed?
Objection, Your Honor, relevance.
Sustained.
Agent Berni, how many phone call or how many numbers of the numbers you analyzed speak with one another in the first 10 minutes, or excuse me, in the first 17 minutes after the 911 call comes in on January 10th, 2015?
So 6 different numbers are involved in calling each other in the time period reviewed between 7:29 and 7:39.
And Agent Berni, I'm going to write on this whiteboard, and I'm going to use this marker, and then when we're done. So the very first call is, what is the last name associated with the first call?
The first call is McMullen placing a call to Williams.
I'm going to object on the grounds of speculation as to who is calling who. Phones are calling the phones.
Objection is objection.
Sustained.
Agent Berni, with phone numbers, I'll ask you when I'll say associated phone numbers for the names associated with the number 12. Is that all right? The associated names. I know you don't know the family.
That's correct.
So, Agent Berni, I'm going to write on here the first time that you see a number in these records, let me know and let the jury know. So, first is 6080 associated with McMullen.
That's correct.
And calling 3904, who is associated with Williams.
That's correct.
And who was the next person that Williams calls?
So the next person that the 3904 device associated with Williams calls is the 9596.
And is that number associated with Dora Grier?
It is.
Is the first time 8008 associated with Bradford the second call? The first time that that number appears in your toll analysis?
It is.
And who is the next person that 8008 or where is the first call that 2643 comes into on this first slide?
2643 receives a call from the 3904.
Which is the Williams number?
That's correct.
And does 2643 make contact with anyone else we've just discussed, or his phone number we've just discussed, in terms of calling someone?
Yes, as far as outgoing calls from the 2643 phone, the next call is to the 9596.
And is there another call after that that 2643 calls?
Yep, 2643 also calls 608.
Now, Agent Berni, and I'm going to put up, or I'm going to hold up for the jury and you, do you see any connection in what I just wrote on this whiteboard? Is there any pattern you see?
I mean, obviously, we discussed the phones associated with each of these individuals. You can see the calls from and to those individuals are connected to other individuals on the phone.
And is the time span of the calls on this first demonstrative board all within a span or not within a span of 10 minutes?
That's correct.
Now, Agent Berni, all of this toll analysis, did you ever receive records from the Fulton County District Attorney's Office to form this toll analysis?
I did.
And is that the CDRs you discussed earlier with the jury?
It is.
Can he be seated again?
He may, Your Honor. He may have to, if Agent
Hey, I
Berni
just
doesn't
didn't know
mind.
if y'all were done with that or not.
We are going to refer back to it.
Hop back up when you need to again.
So, Agent Berni, I wanted to show you what has already been admitted as State's Exhibit 464Y. Did you receive, as part of your analysis, the call detail records for the 6080 number?
I did.
Now, Agent Berni, can you see this screen before you?
I can.
Does this appear, or does this format of information seem familiar to you?
It is.
And what type of, is this, can you tell if this is Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint, or something else?
Yeah, this is a Verizon record for phone number ending in 6080.
Now, Agent Berni, that first call, I'm going to scroll within 464 Yankee till we get to 729. And is Verizon records back in 2015 call detail records, are they in Eastern time, UTC time? What are they in?
They're in Eastern time.
So do you see, and I'm going to highlight it yellow, is that the call that's the first call depicted on in the toll analysis you conducted?
It is.
Now, in these Verizon records, is the number on the, can you explain for the jury, is the number on the left the number that received the call, made the call? What are these two numbers, these two columns to the immediate left of the yellow highlighted indicate?
Yeah, if you scroll all the way to the top, you can see the columns, and then I can better define them out. So as you see, column A is the network element name. So that's basically the switch name. So cell phone towers are put in, obviously, in various areas to provide coverage. And then a group of towers is called a switch. So a lot of towers report to one switch, and that switch then routes traffic to wherever it's going. So column A is the network element name, also called the switch name. So it just shows that these towers are all located in the Atlanta area. Column B is the mobile directory number. That's the number whose records we're looking at. So when a search warrant is obtained by law enforcement, they say, hey, we want Jay Berni's cell phone records. His number is this, right? And so that is the phone number of the records that we're looking at. Column C is the dialed digits number. That's the number that was called for each interaction. So you may see the 6080 in there. That just means that that was an incoming call to that number. So the dialed digits just means that's who received the phone call. So again, as it would relate to our chart, it would be the numbers on the right-hand side of our chart, the one receiving the phone call. Call direction is a code used by Verizon to show whether it was an incoming or outgoing call, or back in 2015, it used to be like Verizon to Verizon would get special codes. The seizure date and time, that's the date and then the time period for each activity. So again, you can see the first call shown on there is January 1, 2015 at 1:22. And the times of these are all going to be in Eastern time. Seizure time is how long the call actually occurred. So from the time you hit that green button until that call is terminated or ended within Verizon, that's how long that call actually occurred.
Now, Agent Berni, I'm going to go back to the call at 7:29 on January 10th. And I want to ask you, you see this highlighted call?
I do.
When is the last time before this call that's 6080 associated with McMullen and 3904 associated with Williams interact with one another?
So you'd have to scroll over on the right-hand side, but it looks like the last time 3904 was called by this number is right above that on January 10th at 6:57 a.m.
Is that morning or evening?
That's in the morning. So the times listed on here again would be in the 24-hour clock. So stuff after 12 o'clock will show up as 13 is 1 o'clock, 14 is 2 o'clock, so forth and so on.
And between those calls, do you see any of the associated target numbers that you analyzed interact with one another between that 6:57 in the morning call between 3904 and 6080 and the 7:29 p.m. call between 6080 and 3904?
Can you scroll over to the right just a little bit?
Yes.
Can you expand column K? Oh,
Column K?
yep, at the top right. There we go. So now we can see the dial digits and then also the numbers associated with placing the call. So you can see both sides of it. So in between the 6:57 a.m.
And I'm going to highlight that in yellow for purposes.
In between the 6:57 a.m. and the 7:29 p.m., none of the other 11 phone numbers that I was asked to take a look at are called or contacted by the 6080 phone.
Now, Agent Berni, I'm going to put up what's marked as 533 Yankee Charlie.
Next few minutes, like let's not launch into a 30-minute thing.
Your Honor, this may be a good time to stop
Okay,
before
let's do that.
another board.
All right.
Thank
you. And Agent Berni, sorry to make you come back another time, but there is no way we're getting through your testimony.
Yes,
this
Your Honor.
afternoon. All right.